Today I'm going to show you how to turn this into this. This year I'm growing about 30 to 40 heirloom tomato plants from which I can save about a pound of seed. And those seeds I sell on Amazon, Etsy, and Shopify. I only grow one variety of tomato because I do not want any of my tomato plants to be cross-pollinated. I want a pure heirloom tomato seed. If I grew more than one variety of tomato, then there would be a danger of cross-pollination, and then I would not get a pure heirloom tomato. This variety is called Pink Brandywine. It's one of my favorite tomatoes because of the flavor and of the size. It doesn't produce a whole lot of tomatoes, but the tomatoes that it does produce are amazing. They're the best in the world. So I don't grow tomatoes because I want just regular bland tomatoes. I want the best tasting flavor in a tomato. And for me, that's Pink Brandywine. So when you are choosing a variety to save, pick one of your favorites, probably an heirloom tomato, an open pollinated one. I would advise against saving seeds from hybrid varieties because you cannot guarantee that you'll have an exact replica of that plant the next year. Now I'm going to take you through the process of how I save the seeds from these tomatoes and then get them ready to sell. So I have a 5-gallon bucket and I have a 10-gallon bucket. I'm going to fill these up to the top. I let tomatoes ripen on the vine as long as possible so they're a little overripe. And so I just go around and pick some. Maybe a bug has eaten some. That's okay. If it's starting to deteriorate or whatever, you can throw it in and let it ferment in your bucket. This tomato right here is a little overripe. And so what I do is I just pick it. It's fine. That's a perfect tomato right there for saving seeds, because you want a very, very ripe tomato, because if they're very ripe, then the seeds will be fully mature. So you just put it in your bucket, and just go along and pick all the super ripe tomatoes and put them in there. There's one right there. Check that out. You just let that go in there. There's a whole bunch of seeds in there. The next step is to smash all these tomatoes down. So I'm going to smash them down with my hands very carefully so they're not going to squirt on me. They will a little bit. I just get the top ones kind of smushed down like that. Slowly squish them down. This will help break them down. There we go. Now you can just start pushing down and squishing. See all those seeds in there? There we go. Now it's time to take the tomatoes into the garage and let them ferment for about 5 to 7 days. There's a gel sac that surrounds the tomato seed. This prevents germination, and we need to remove it in order for the seed to germinate properly. And we do this through fermentation. Now I'll let these tomatoes ferment for about 5 to 7 days. I don't add anything to them. I just let nature take over. Mold will set on top, and then I'll stir it when it gets a little moldy, and then the seeds will drop to the bottom. After a couple of hours, the fermentation process is already starting. Today it's a warm day, it's about 85 degrees, and the bacteria are working. You can see it bubbling, and they're breaking down the tomato right now. This is day 2 of the fermentation process. You can see that there is mold on top. The bacteria in the juice is still working underneath to break down that gel around the tomato seed. And now what I'll do is I'll get a ladle and I'll just kind of swish around the pulp and make sure that everything is kind of broken up. Mixing will help the seeds separate from the pulp and drop to the bottom of the bucket. Here is day 3 of the fermentation process. You can see that there's even more mold today on there, and here again I'm mixing the pulp and the juice to get the rest of the seeds separated from that pulp, and they'll fall to the bottom. Here's day 4. Still some more mold. Mix that up. Same thing for the next couple days. And here is day 5. We got some more mold, but see right here, the pulp is breaking down very nicely, and there's a lot of juice underneath, and the seeds are falling down to the bottom. So tomorrow I think it's about ready to process. So today's Monday. I started processing these seeds last Tuesday, so it's been about 6 days, and now I'm going to show you how I process these seeds. So I take the pulp from the top. A lot of the seeds have already fallen down to the bottom of the bucket. So I take the pulp and I just put it in a separate bowl here, and then I'm going to strain the seeds out of that later, but I want to just get rid of the pulp first and then strain out the juice, the tomato juice, and then get a lot of the majority of the seeds out of there. And then I will strain the pulp and get the extra seeds out of that. So I have my sieve right here, and so that I'm going to pour out the seeds into that after I get all the pulp and all the juice out. So first I'm just going to grab the pulp and just put it into the top here, like this. Boom, boom, boom. The next day, the seeds are still moist, so I just fluff them up. Some of the seeds will start to stick to the plate, which is fine. I just kind of scrape them off the plate and make sure that they are not sticking. And it'll probably take 2 or 3 more days for them to fully dry out. I live in a dry climate, so there's not really any risk of mold. So if you live in a humid climate, you just have to watch out for that. This is like 3 or 4 days later, and the seeds are pretty much dry. I'll let them dry completely for another few days just to make sure there is no moisture in the seed, because I'm going to store them in a plastic bag and I don't want any mold happening. Now it's been about a week, and now the seeds are completely dry, and I will store them in a plastic bag and they'll be ready to sell. 14 gallons of tomatoes produced about 6 ounces of tomato seed. So I'll need to now process about 38 gallons of tomatoes in order to get 1 pound of tomato seed. I use my Epson EcoTank 15,000 to print my seed envelope. I also print the instructions on the back. I fill the envelope with the correct amount of seeds, and I seal it, and then it's ready to be shipped off. So I gave you some steps on how to grow your own seeds, to make your own seed packets, and to sell your seeds on Amazon, Etsy, or Shopify. But honestly, most of my volume comes through Amazon. Most people are shopping there, so that's where I have most of my volume. So go check these out on Amazon and buy your own seeds, grow your own plants, save your own seeds. Thanks for watching my video. Like and subscribe if you like this video, and check out the link below if you want to purchase some Pink Brandywine heirloom tomato seeds.